started wearing glasses when I was about 7. I was nearsighted and steadily, as most children do, required stronger and stronger prescriptions as I got older. But I remember specifically in my early 20s seeing the eye doctor, and we would go through the whole test with, the thing over your eyes in 1 or 2, 3 or 4. And so he would say, yep, you got 20/20 and I'll see you in a year. And I said, yeah, but when you look down at the end there, are you supposed to see 2 boxes that are like this? And he said, you're seeing 20/20, essentially go have a good life and I'll see you in a year. Over the course of those decades of driving, particularly at night, it became more and more challenging for me to drive at night, to the point where probably about 15 years ago, I had to really limit the amount of driving that I did in unfamiliar places, in bad weather, at night, because the glare and the glow from oncoming traffic, and I couldn't read the signs well, and it was a really scary experience for me. The other part of my history is I have been an extremely anxious person for as far back in my childhood as I can remember. I'm one of the interesting people, and I see the differences because of the kids and adults that I work with, but I'm one of those interesting people who don't have a huge problem with reading, and I still don't understand why. Mine manifests mostly in distance, but also eye-hand coordination and depth perception and balance. And it's been really bad, and it's who I am, and it's all I've known. I had a very, very stiff body. Walking was difficult, not like impaired, but I was very stiff in my movements, and began seeing an osteopathic manipulative therapist. That evolved into working simultaneously with a specialized physical therapist who does cranial therapy and lymphatic drainage, which is awesome, by the way, and all kinds of different healing techniques. And over the course of those many years, they would do their very best to release the tension in my neck and shoulders and back and hips, and they weren't getting very far. And we all thought it was my body. I found numerous different eye doctors, and one of the eye doctors I found prescribed prisms, and it definitely made things better, to the point where but it still wasn't great, and I still was having big struggles driving. That was during the time that I couldn't drive at night so much and all that. One of the things that I'm sort of trained to notice is how to screen people for vision challenges, whether it's light sensitivity or it's visual tracking, and other academic difficulties that they might be having. And so I had a young man that I was working with. He was in middle school, and he was showing some very definite difficulties with tracking. So I recommended to the mom, I think he might benefit from having a specialized optometrist who's developmental and can see how the eyes work together. And at the time, I had half a dozen names of doctors in the area who know how to prescribe for prisms. And so I gave her the half dozen names, went about my business, forgot about it, and sometime later, weeks, maybe a month or so, I get a call from Dr. Debbie. Dr. Debbie says, "Hi Judy, this is Dr. Debbie. I've recently seen one of your clients, and I'd like to share what I found." And I said, "Wow, thanks, this is awesome. I'm getting information too." And she says, I saw him and I tested him and did the full evaluation, and indeed he was having some difficulty with binocularity, which is how the eyes work together. And I did fit him with prism correction lenses. And she says, and so now he is doing a better job at reading and so forth. But she says, there's this other thing that happened too. And I said, what's that? And she said, as soon as the correct prisms were placed on him, he sat up straight and spoke with I guess gusto. Where before he used to tuck his chin down and not make eye contact with me and be very, very quiet. And I was treating him more for social kinds of things and how he felt and motivation. And I thought, wow, you put on a pair of glasses and his whole demeanor changes. I need to know more of this. So I said to Dr. Debbie, any chance you could arrange for me to come in and observe one of your patients being evaluated? And she says, let me see what I can do. And I got a call, and they had gotten permission from a parent of a little 7-year-old girl for me to come in and observe the evaluation. And I came in and I watched this little girl, and when she entered, her body was immensely stiff, way more so than mine had ever been. When she walked, she didn't swing her arms. Her body was tilted. She was extremely stiff. She was struggling in school. And I watched the exam. And as Dr. Debbie made the prism corrections, I watched her body little by little calm, soften. And as she gets what turns out to be the final prism correction, her legs relaxed. And the little girl gets up, arms swinging, head straight, body in flow, walked a straight line down the hallway. And I said, I need to come see you. There's a piece that's really been missing in my life. I'm almost 64 right now. My birthday's this fall. I can't remember exactly when this appointment was, but it must have been like just shy of my 60th birthday. And what I was realizing was how long I have dealt with my body not being in proper correction, my vision not being in proper correction. And I had an inkling then of how that was going to, how it had been affecting my whole life. So I made the appointment. I took the questionnaire online, of course, and came in for my appointment with Dr. Debbie. And she watched me walk, and she had me move, and she did all these corrections, and the first time she put glasses on me, I just cried. That all of a sudden, now that my face and my eyes were relaxing because the prisms were doing the corrective job instead of my body, as I'm understanding this, is as Debbie can get the better and best for the time vision correction for me, then my physical and energy healers can actually make the changes in my body, which then allows me to get a new set of glasses, which then allows me to release new aspects of the physical, which then allows me to get a new pair of glasses. There are way too many eye physicians out there, optometrists, ophthalmologists, who do not get this, who do not understand it. And it wasn't until I came to vision specialists that I got the hope. And I'm getting there. I've still got some more incarnations to go. And hopefully the younger people especially won't have had as many years of their body patterning in a tight, tense way that doesn't have to unravel and reopen like mine has had to. And I'm fortunate that I have the time and the availability that I can watch it unwind. So I refer as young as possible. And some of the adults, if you're an adult, it can still work in your favor, and it doesn't mean you have to go through a years-long journey like I have. That's my journey. It doesn't necessarily have to be your journey. And I think a lot of people don't make the connection between this body, these eyeballs, and how we all function in the world. And I guess that's part of the next mission is, how do we teach people to make the connection? I'm not just a neck. I'm not just shoulders that, by the way, used to be very much like this because of all the anxiety. Or what came first, the anxiety or the physical tension, which now allows me to relax more. We need to see that we are a mind, body, spirit, and how all those connect together, and teach more physicians about that.